Would you welcome now a man whose prose writing career has been among the most successful in publishing history. He's a world-acclaimed novelist, a critic, conversationalist, actor, humorist, and sometime political candidate. Not this year, however. Would you welcome Gore Vidal? Gore? Delighted to see you. Gore, you have on your big business suit.
Well, I have the big business suit because I heard you're going to have a little big business on the program tonight. So I feel like we'll be a pair of bookends for you.
Wonderful.
And I'm on your left, I see.
Yes, and I'll be right in the middle of the two of us.
That's the proper
Gee,
place
you must
to be.
have a lot to say. My word.
Well,
we have Mr. Reagan, who's received a mandate from the people.
Well, he received something. It was certainly better than the old actor's home, the White House. Now, if I were he, to be really shrewd, he ought to let his hair go white. And just simply say, and just suddenly appear, after all those years of that waxy buildup, just...
Now, wait, he denies that, and they've come up with proof, and he hasn't touched his hair.
Oh, well, maybe somebody else touches it. I don't think... I myself would be nervous to touch it as it looks alive. I mean, that hair looks as though it might suddenly seize you. I think he looks like Melvin Douglas in Being There. I mean, he actually looks like that, but then he's, beautifully painted and so on.
Even the Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, is giving him what he calls a 6-month honeymoon, where the Democratic members of the House of Representatives are not going to attack him to give him a break going in, and you refuse to give him a break.
Oh, I refuse to, yeah. Well,
based on what?
Based on what I suppose he'll do to the country. I get a little nervous.
But the people voted him in with a landslide.
Which people, Merv? 1 in 4 voted for him, 1 in 4 voted against him, and 2 out of 4 didn't vote at all. This is not a mandate. This is barely a boy date. But whatever it is not a mandate.
There's a large group now of ex-presidents. With Mr. Carter, Mr. Ford.
Nixon is at least 2 being schizophrenic, We have to pay for 2 sets of Secret Service. Where's the bad Nixon today? Where's the good Nixon today,
Yeah.
I miss him, as you know.
Oh,
I'm an addict. I can't get enough of Richard Nixon. I think he's going to be coming back. When I see those jowls going on television, and when he starts talking very seriously about the world affairs, and I just know, and he always gets sort of, the voice gets very, very, very tense. I just know he's going to be taking
Did you keep to your promise? I'm trying to remember. On this show, prior to his first election, you said on this show, if Mr. Nixon is elected, I am moving out of the country. And the people were shocked that then you moved to Italy. But did you stay there the whole time?
Oh, no, I came back. It got
Too
so
much
exciting.
Fun?
Well, you don't get very good TV reception of Nixon in Italy. I suddenly found I couldn't live without it. Now, this is my worry about Ron and Nancy, is I think we could become addicted again. You sort of count the chins and...
But we might be in better
and watch
hands.
her stare. Well, I don't know better hands, but just knowing the 2 are there, it's like it's going to be like an old movie, And what happened when Andy Hardy got really old, We're old enough, young people don't know what we're talking about, but Andy Hardy was our youth, and it was gosh all Friday and gee willikins and those expressions that Ronald Reagan uses. It was another wonderful, wonderful world. It's a little geriatric now, but it'll be...
Can't we look at his track record? He did rather well for the state of California.
Well, yes, he ambled along through the governorship.
First time we ever had a surplus in the state treasury.
A surplus, which was achieved by the largest tax increase in the history of California.
But he gave it back to the people?
Just before the next election, and he kept a lot of it for the government, He was kind of weird. I think if he, of course, he's 30% in taxes now. He's obliged to cut over the next 3 years.
Right.
That'll be very exciting because he wants to add $30 billion to the defense budget against godless, atheistic, monolithic communism, which is forever on the march, even now as we sit here. And this money, by divine right, has to go to the Pentagon.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, the map is getting a little small as to all those
so's the
red countries that are closing in on us over there.
The budget is getting smaller, Merv. 79% of the budget, most people don't know this, 79% of the federal budget can never be cut. It's interest on the debt, it's Social Security, it's Medicaid, it's what they call transfer payments. You can't cut it.
Well, those are not his problem. I mean,
They're not his. No, I'm telling you about what he's inherited.
Right.
25% belongs by divine right to the Pentagon so that it contain the menace of et cetera, et cetera. 25% and 79% make 104%, and that is the budget. Now, the 4% is the deficit, which will be paid off by the unborn, if there are any. I mean, if the Pentagon allows for this. So you're in a situation, he knows he can't cut it, and he does this sort of shell game with the people. $30 billion will be added to the defense budget here, and then, of course, the taxes will be lowered over here.
But he said he will get government off the backs of the people.
I wonder where he will then put it.
There's some speculation by the press that the moral majority in America was responsible in many ways for electing Mr. Reagan.
Well, I think they contributed, but
And also to the demise of some
those
senators.
5 or 6 senators, I don't think that's as clear as helping Reagan, but they've certainly been busy as bees and on television. And of course, you know, a man of the cloth has as much right as anybody else to support a political candidate. He has every right to do it on television. He has every right to get...
Well, that's not clear. Does he have the right?
Oh, sure he has, yeah.
A tax-free institution in America
Well,
can...
this is the point.
Separation of church and state?
Well, we don't separate it quite that much. If he wants to get out and talk that if the Reverend Falwell is for Reagan, he can say he's for Reagan. If the Reverend Falwell says, you send me your money now, I want some money, send me $25, waiting for the check, you know, and if you're dumb enough to send the money, he has every right to, you know, this country was based on never give a sucker an even break. If he wants to get millions of dollars from hustling on television and then use it for politics, he has every right. But he should not be tax exempt. Every religion in the United States is tax exempt. These are the biggest rip-offs, some of them, including the legitimate religions right along with the blessed L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology fame and the South Korean Messiah. These people are in business to mint money. So I would say let them pick up as much money as they can and then have a man from the IRS come right in and say, all right, give us our share. They should no longer be tax exempt. Reagan wants to raise money. Well, one way you could do it, it's been estimated that if you tax all the religions in the United States, the new ones like the Scientology, right on to the Catholics, the Baptists, and the Jews, you could raise $100 billion a year. Now that's 2/3 of the military budget. That's a lot of money. Since I am ecumenical by nature, I would tax also the great foundations, the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation. These are all great tax evasions, you know, for the rich. Tax them both. That would pay the last third of the military budget, you know. That would take the heat off of us. We might even get more tax out of the oil companies, as I believe gentlemen who will be on this program will discuss with us. Meanwhile, they have these single-issue things are quite frightening. I mean, suddenly abortion becomes more important than unemployment or inflation. This is kind of crazy. I mean, abortion is an important issue, but inflation touches everybody. And suddenly, to get down to a debate, you're going to defeat somebody for Congress because you disagree that he does not believe that the fetus is sacred, and you do. It seems to me very odd indeed. I've always found, though, that the right to lifers, they say, thou shalt not kill, you must never kill a fetus, but they're all in favor of capital punishment. I've never understood this. I think this is what, in theology, we call a divine mystery, you know how...
We'll be back after this message.